All right, welcome back to what do we call this episode?
Legends of Valcia, episode 38, part 2.
Part 2. That's what I was going for. Legends of Valcia, episode 38, part 2. Unfortunately, Din is not with us to give the Din recap. So Tabrin will give us a recap of his experience over the last couple days. He's really frustrated with Harbeck, that the fact that he's still holding on to the fact that, okay, it's a joke, but I'm still gonna do it. I'm still gonna talk to a rock, and I'm gonna be all happy now, and things are gonna work out, and like people are almost dead, and now Sprig is hanging out with this half-elf that's just as worse than his brother, who doesn't give any good information. That I don't even know why he's around, other than he's some. Okay, I was gonna say magical freak, but I'm kind of the magical freak too. So, anyway, trying to figure this ring out, and Breek's trying to help, and Nima Gargintius is figuring out his book thing, and I figured out the ring. We're still traveling. We're trying to figure out what Iliander's going to bring. None of us have ever been there, and Tresson is really just, in my opinion, no help other than that he creates light and can get rid of light and made this big menagerie whoop-de-doo. I can't talk to him. And so that's where we're at. And Harbeck's trying to build this like food buffet table. I don't even really know what he's doing. But
it's funny because that is absolutely a thing that you would expect him to do.
And you know that he's going to eat lunch off this thing, even when it's an alchemy lab.
Oh dear. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it, right? Poor Tabrin is super frustrated. Okay, so it's been another day of travel. Who's taking watches tonight?
I'll take one.
As long as people keep letting me take breakfast watch, I'll keep taking breakfast watch.
I should probably have
I can make
breakfast with him.
I'll make the breakfast.
Breek has a little bit of a hard time falling asleep at night, so he'll take first watch.
I can do second.
And I will make
Can I get
breakfast.
perception checks? As each of you watch throughout the night.
Yep, that is the breakfast roll.
Such large mounds of breakfast, you can't see over them.
Dump stat. Perception isn't actually a stat.
There we go.
But dump stat just, hey, you can't do worse than me.
Right. Well, Brig, that was an awfully good perception check.
Thank you.
Fortunately, the night passes without any incident. Day 3 of your journey. What would you like to do during day 3? Don't all talk at once.
I can't decide if Harbeck is sure this thing's gonna work and wants to try again. But Harbeck might keep building his Steadicam personal luncheon table.
So I've been like slowly helping everybody in the party with their project, and I've only kind of barely helped Harbeck. So now I think it's time to focus on that. I'm going to try to lend some some engineering ideas to Harbeck today.
Tabron had some time to think last night and realizes that he's not the only one that's having a hard time with the way things are going, and should at least try and be a little nicer to Harbeck. Not to the extent of apology yet, but just maybe give him a little pointers on helping make his food buffet.
Okay. Harbeck, you can add an additional 1d10.
So dice!
and
Gargantius is he's gonna be practicing something like a special move he's coming up with. Maybe if he practices it enough, Book can teach him how to finish it. It's kind of like a cut through anything, like material slash. I don't know how that. I don't know. That's like the concept of it anyway. So he's just practicing like holding his sword, visualizing like putting all his power behind the sword and then swinging in front of him. He'll do that a few over and over.
Okay. Brig, you see Tabron sort of wander over and tell Harbeck that he's doing it wrong and this is how he should do it. And then Harbeck attempts to put the table together again and fails miserably. And you've been trying to, you have a curious mind. You're not exactly super hands-on, but you're very good at recognizing when things aren't working and why. And after watching Harbeck struggle once again to get this thing to sit right and work, you identify most of the problems. And if you'd like, you can tomorrow, because you spent most of the day doing these sorts of things already, but tomorrow instead, Harbeck can help you build the table, because you've worked out exactly what he's trying to do. It's no longer just him sputtering about the platform in front of me with the ropes and the things, and that it'll sit there and it'll be perfect and it'll work. You now know what he's trying to do, and you think you've come up with a solution. So,
Okay.
that's an option for tomorrow.
Yeah. So I will. When I think I've got everything worked out, I'll say to Harbeck, so I have some ideas that I think may help. Perhaps we can work on your project together tomorrow?
Alright, I think that I got close today. Don't you think? Does this make me look fat?
No, it's the fact that you're fat that makes you look fat.
That's
But we
fair.
love you for it.
I meant fatter.
Right,
I think the problem is that I'm trying to rest the shelf on this shelf. Tomorrow. Let's.
Yeah, we'll work on it tomorrow. So, yeah, as for Tabern's request, Brig shrugs and says to Tresson, you know those, the weapons you made, the little crystal that you threw? You gave one of them to Tabarin, but anyway, he was wondering if there's a way you could make a few more of those. Seems like it would be a useful thing to have.
I suppose I could try.
I will relay that to Tabarin. He says he'll try. I don't really know what that means, but
You're muted, so I can't hear what you're saying. It's like talking to Tresson.
It's okay. Tristan doesn't understand what I'm saying either. Thank you.
Okay. So that's basically the day spent. Again, I'm going to move you a little bit further. It's fairly slow going. This is thrilling entertainment, I'm sure, but it's all very, very important. Who's taking watch tonight?
I am.
Breakfast watch, best watch.
I've decided after taking watch for the last several nights, it's my turn for beauty rest, and I'm going to sleep for 9 hours.
Then I will take the first one.
Okay.
Ah, wrong order again.
Always a wrong order. That is a great roll.
I like to type entire novels in my perception checks because the dice are always underwhelming.
It's not too bad. 14 for a Harvick perception check's actually pretty good.
That's reasonable. Yeah, that's
pretty.
I might have noticed if something that wasn't very sneaky snuck up.
Right. The night passes without incident. On your next day of travel, what is everybody going to be doing? Get used to that question. It's going to happen several more times.
I'm going to have Brieg tell me where to put the pieces of wood until I have a table, so I can make stuff. Because I'm so excited to make stuff, because I make new stuff, and we're never in a place where... I mean, we're like deep in the middle of not ever going to a building with a table in it.
Yes.
Location-wise, that's where we are.
So I will give Harbeck all of my brilliant insights that I had yesterday watching him struggle to build a table.
Okay. You can roll the unskilled intelligence check as the designer, if you will. Harbeck, you can assist him by succeeding on a DC 10 intelligence check.
Brieg can have some help.
Oh, I was so optimistic with my emote that time.
I got
Hey.
a 22.
22. Brieg, not only do you manage to make a secure, stable platform that Harbeck can wear, you also come up with an interesting innovation where the table can fold away. Basically creating a couple of cloth strap hinges that allow the table to fold in one direction but not the other direction and split it into two boards. And that means that Harbeck can carry this thing around in a pack quite comfortably if necessary, which, while he won't be able to brew on the go, he will be able to create his magical alcoholic beverages with the limited space and without having to have, a full brewing setup, which is very, very exciting, Harbeck, because this is something that you realize, and it means that basically anywhere you are, as long as you've got your pack and your ingredients on you, you can work on those magical brews.
Yeah!
Which is pretty cool.
Do you guys remember
it does take-
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say it does take most of the day to get the whole thing built and tested and retested. And I mean, the last thing you want to do is build it and then load it up full of all of the weird things that you have in your pack and then have it break and spill all of those weird things on your feet, which are always bare.
Yeah.
So you tested it a few times before you put anything actually dangerous on it. So Tabrin.
Do you guys remember the last time we encountered the Felagor? And we each had an opportunity to talk to and essentially wish for something.
Aye.
Yes.
I think
All right,
I
I
think
wished
it's
for a
important
hat.
that we look into whatever it is that we're going to do, or ask if we encounter this Felagor. A, can you help us escape? And if others have other wishes or thoughts, being prepared ahead of time and not wasting our chance at A, gaining information or gaining an advantage in our journey ahead.
I think
So-
that perhaps the best thing we could possibly wish, together, everyone, combined one wish. We need to talk to the Maker.
I absolutely agree.
And I think with all of the evidence we have that we can use to track him down, our best bet might be, hey Felagor, can you send us to meet our Maker? It's not quite right. You get the
Not
gist.
Our maker, the maker. We could even call him John. John the Maker. Isn't that what we decided his name was?
I think Grebe
Yeah.
called him John.
Yeah, Grebe called him that.
I'm sure that Felagor would get our point.
Like, hope so.
To wish to be by John.
I was still a little concerned that Grebe left us that spell that ultimately we had interpreted as, hey, this is going to take us to John, the Maker, because he said, say hi to John for me on the back of that scroll.
It's possible
And then we just kind of moved forward.
that Grebe knew that we would talk to John before he would. Whether or not that spell was intended to send us to John. And I'd imagine that the reaction you're having right now is exactly Grebe's sense of humor.
Yeah, I mean, whatever else Grebe was, he was a dick. So, seems like exactly something he would do. You know, intentionally mislead and confuse us. Even when he was being helpful, he still would somehow find a way to make that into a joke.
Fair enough.
A joke
Anyway.
that's endlessly funny.
But you do
To
give a
to
good
only
point.
one person.
You know, have your wishes thought up in advance in case. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. If we do get a wish. But also, if we wish to be next to John, hopefully it's in a space where it's habitable. Who knows? Maybe he's in a place with no air. Actually, wait, how would he be breathing? I don't know. He's the Maker.
To be honest, my hunch is we ask to find John, and we're going to find ourselves in Evasis, the monastery of Evasis, the training or whatever. It's a hunch.
Well, even if we know right where to go, skipping the journey might be worth our wish.
Would be great, because it gets out of Thacon
Exactly.
after we pooped all over Terran and are going to steal from the Eternal King.
Literally.
Right. So, I mean, essentially, as long as wherever the Maker is not in a dungeon in Iliander, it's an improvement, right?
Right.
I think you guys should wish for either the ability to control your Ulk thrust, or the ability to counter it. So if the king guy shows up, we're not frozen and helpless, basically, like last time in the elf village. I still
That's why
don't
we
know
went
how
to see
Book
the
got
medic,
me out.
to the maker. He's the one that can teach us that.
This is true. Well, so you've heard. Anyway. So it's the next day. Harbeck, you have a fancy new table.
Yeah. So now I need to know how my new class feature works, because I mean, is it basically? Yeah, I can't find anything for brew potions in 5th edition. Player's Handbook.
Yeah, so it used to be the class used to be create magical item feat because it used to require experience, and that's how I offset the cost. The new way I'm going to do it in 5th edition with the class is basically you can create. So all of the spell effects that you naturally create and can cast from yourself.
Yeah.
All right, your class spells, effectively, you can now brew them into potions that are imbibable by other people, effectively granting them the ability to cast those magical effects, right?
Okay.
So you can create healing drafts, you can create drafts of bull strength or whatever else you want. The way mechanically that it works for you is very similar to your current brewing ability, except that it is more difficult to create these new brews, the actual potions.
Yep.
So you still roll your dice to see how many you can create in a given amount of time, but it takes a higher result to create the same amount of potions, effectively.
So I could
and of course, you still have to have...
make, like, heals, basically just heal potions.
Yes! We have it did.
Nice
Hey!
hair.
And it's very blue.
Super blue.
So I could make, like, healing potions seem, like, very obvious, but also, like, detect magic potions and
Yep.
inflict wounds potions?
Yep.
And, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. You can create all of those things. All of the... Here, hold my beer potions.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you can basically grant the ability to cast a single cleric spell as a standard action by pre-creating the thing, and it's like being able to create a one-use scroll.
Yeah.
Effectively.
Okay.
Except it comes in the form of an alcoholic potion that you can give to anybody, and they can drink it, and so forth. It is worth noting that there is a slight drawback to the fact that you are a brewmaster, in that, say for instance, you were to give Din a bunch of these potions, and Din was to drink a bunch of these potions and use them during a particular short span of time, that
And
may
weighs
have negative
85
consequences.
pounds.
Yeah, she's not exactly big. Din is quite small.
I am going to have to train this whole party on how to slam a beer as a bonus action instead of a move action.
But I don't drink. I don't drink.
Just
The entire next day, we're going to spend
You make
learning
one of
how to
those beer
shotgun a
caps
beer.
with the straws.
yeah.
Brig, I've got an idea! I need you to help me build another thing. Yeah, okay, well then I'm going to spend today making a whole bunch of stuff for everyone on my fancy new tray table. Yay.
Okay. Right. It's a pity I can't get that extra fourth. Keep digging. And let me know how you go. So, it's the next day, and Tavern has the fancy... Harbeck has the fancy table to play with. Now, that's going to take you some time to decide what you want to actually test as your first run, I imagine. So what is everybody else going to do? So, Harbeck, you would normally be able to create 17 spell levels worth of self-imbibed beverages. You can create 8 levels. So effectively, it's half as...
Half, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Brieg is going to spend today chatting with Din, because I've kind of been taking turns helping everybody, and I don't know if Din has anything that she needs help with, but if not, well, we'll just have some bonding time.
Okay, Tavern. Okay. I didn't quite catch that. You sort of faded out. Gigantius.
I have been practicing the swing. Now I'm going to be testing it against objects, so trees, rocks, big rocks, not just small ones. Trying to see if I can
smash your sword into big rocks.
It's magic.
Okay.
It's magic. Anyway, the plan is if I can cut clean through these things, then I've progressed in the move somehow.
Okay. I'm going to get you to roll an unmodified strength for me, please. Tavern, what were you doing with the day?
So, I know that there are other magics that exist, and I don't really understand how they work, but somehow I'm connected to them. So I'm going to start with something simple, like Mage Hand, but as opposed to casting it, I'm going to more attempt to do it with sheer mind power, thinking that, psionics is more mind development, that maybe I can try and start figuring out how some of this works.
Okay. I'll get you to roll an intelligence check. Gigantius, you spend about 15 minutes practicing your sword swing, and the rest of the day sharpening your sword, taking out all of the big dings that you left in it, trying to cut rocks. You haven't really had any success. So, Harbeck, you're spending the day making enhanceability potions.
Yep, it's a level 2 spell. I have 8 points. There are 4 people who are not me. And so at the end of the day, I give each of you a little... How do I keep these things in? It must be in a skin, right? Like, I'm not going to be like, carry this cup of beer everywhere you go, you might need it.
I imagine it would be a skin, yeah.
So I give everybody a skin and explain how it works. And you drink this and you pick... endurance, strength, grace, splendor, cunning, or wisdom, and you'll be really good at that for like an hour. People who know about concentrating on spells will understand that hour requires concentration.
I will write STR pot, and that's all, I guess.
It's for checks, right? You get advantage on checks. It's not for... It doesn't, like... boost the stat for attacking or anything, so keep that in mind.
I should probably pick the weaker one then.
Yeah, I'm gonna push the button wisdom, so you can see all the spell text.
Okay.
So strength, grace, and endurance have an extra effect, and then the other 3 are just advantage on the checks.
I like the strength one for sure. OOC question. Does that give me, what is that called? You know when you're twice your size, you can push stuff farther? What is that called? It's something in the player guide. It's called something. You know what I'm talking about? Oh.
It's purely strength. Your carrying capacity doubling does mean you can push heavier objects. Yes, that is true. Tabern, you think really hard about moving a thing with your brain, and it hurts. And you get nowhere. Rolling a natural 1 will do that to you. Din, what were you going to do with the day? Brig approaches you. Brig.
Hi, Jen.
Brig, will you help me learn to think about a thing for longer?
Is there something in particular that you're trying to figure out or think about?
Well, I think I want to try to move the dirt.
You want to see if your bracelet is like my ring?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'd be happy to try to help. It's going to be a bit different with you. I mean, Tabarin and I both have some magical training, and you don't have any arcane training, right?
No.
So I don't know exactly how it's going to function, but I'd be happy to spend some time trying to help you figure it out.
Okay.
So, as for both Tabarin and I, it's mostly like you said about thinking about a thing. So we've witnessed a
I've been
bit of what
thinking about dirt all day, and none of it moved.
Well, right. So you have to. We know a little bit about what it can do. It can move Earth, and do some other things, I assume. So perhaps you should focus not just on dirt, but on pick a rock and try to move or reshape or something to that rock for a while. I know it's a difficult thing to concentrate on something
Freak.
Yep. Yeah.
Too many options. Focus on this rock and try and make it
Yeah,
flat.
that's a good point. So yeah, why don't you just try to turn this rock into mud? Just make this rock make it soft.
Doesn't mud take water?
Well, you're going to do it magically. I mean, I suppose theoretically, never mind, I'm not going to get into it. But yeah, just try to focus on that. Kind of, so I know that how odd this sounds, but you're going to focus through the bracelet onto the rock. So that's the image that I want in your head, is that you're kind of thinking through the bracelet into the rock and turn the rock into mud.
Think through the bracelet.
I know it's sort of an odd concept, but just try to do that. Just try to think through the bracelet.
I forgot what I was thinking about. Rock, mud, through the bracelet. This is hard.
Din,
Yep.
roll me the dice.
Any dice?
No, I'm. Let's go with a wisdom saving throw.
That's not ominous at all. Should be fine.
Curious dice for me to roll.
Oh, that was so close to being such a big number.
Then you try so hard to focus.
Oh.
So hard to focus. But that's not in your nature. And
No.
you get really frustrated. Like,
Yeah.
really frustrated. And in your frustration and annoyance at this stupid thing and it not working, even though you want it to work, and you're thinking about it, because your theory of mind is terrible. As Din, as part of your adorable character's nature, you get grumpy and you throw the rock. And when you throw the rock into the ground in frustration, the rock buries itself straight through the earth, leaving quite a large tunnel, heading almost straight down, just a few feet from you.
It occurs to me.
I didn't think I threw it that hard. I threw that really hard.
You know, it occurs to me, Din, that I'm probably approaching this in the wrong way. I mean, you're not me. And the
right.
person that gave you that bracelet called you a child of the forest, right? He obviously understands that you're not me. Probably the approach is going to be quite
And
different.
we were standing next to each other. It was pretty obvious that I wasn't you.
Yes, you're right. Also, you don't really think the same way that I think. So, I'm not sure how much help I'll be, but I'd love to help in any way I can. I feel like it's probably going to be more instinctual than what I'm trying to tell you. You know, you're sort of a natural creature, and if that bracelet is meant to be used by you, it will probably lean to your strengths. So when you create good berries, for example, what does that feel like? What happens? What do you do?
I think about being hungry and wanting to not be hungry, and then berries.
Is that all there is to it?
I think it takes dried berries. I don't remember how that works.
Well,
But mostly.
so instead of
Maybe if I did flute, because sometimes with my flute I don't think about anything.
yeah. So try to recapture that feeling, and just make the dirt do what you want it to do. Maybe the key is to not think about it so much.
You could try talking to it like you talk to the grass.
Well,
Sure.
but dirt isn't alive.
You're right, but sometimes just the act of talking will help you relax and focus the way you may need to.
I need another rock, because I can't reach that one anymore.
Din, don't
That
break
was
him.
Odd.
But maybe you could talk to Mash.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Okay, Mash, I
I'll
know
give
that
you
was
an-
scary.
I'll-
I appreciate your bravery.
I'll give you an apple worth of gold if you turn Mash into dust.
Hey, Din, you need a rock. Just imagine that you reach down to the ground and pick up a rock.
Make yourself a rock.
'Cause you
Like,
need a
just
rock.
make a rock.
Yeah.
I'll make a rock.
Roll a knowledge nature for me, please, Din.
Add a
That's somewhere.
D4.
That's a thing. So many places to go. Did it? Yeah, there it goes.
And add a d4, because Tabern is 3. 21. Well, I mean, they're right. A rock is just, like, solid dirt, and there's all of this dirt around you. And as you think about wanting a rock, particles of dirt and sand sort of coalesce around your feet and swirl up around your body. And the next thing you know, you're holding a perfectly spherical rock in the palm of your hand.
Did I do
Can't
it?
believe that actually worked.
Looks like it. I mean, that's a rock, right?
I didn't. Yeah, well, I think so.
Wait a
I
second.
didn't think through my bracelet.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I was, I trained, well, kind of as a mage. It's a different thing than what you do, and you probably need to do what you do, not what I do.
Mash is rock colored. I just want to clarify that he is rock colored.
He's the prettiest rock that was nearby when I decided I needed a traveling companion who understands me, unlike all of these rude people.
Mash is apparently the substitute hate for Lord Silverstar. It's the embodiment of that.
We haven't seen Silverstar for a while. Eventually.
Yes.
So Din, you were sort of, you did it, which is exciting, but it's not like a normal rock, and it's a bit strange, and you didn't really feel like you did anything. You just wanted a thing. You just wanted a rock, and it sort of happened, and it's a little confusing, and it'll take you a little while to process. So you can spend the rest of the day thinking about that was weird.
Thinking about why
so
my rock is
everybody-
perfectly round.
Yeah. Oh, you're keeping your new rock?
Well, maybe it's all the hipster rage now to have a pet rock. So I'm just gonna have one too.
So what you're saying is, 2 members of the party now have pet
Now
rocks.
have.
What is
I don't know if mine is a. Yeah, but
Yeah.
mine is more like a pet, like that project in high school where you had to take an egg home and treat it like a baby. It's more like like I know it's not a thing, but I'm keeping this rock.
You're keeping it, and you're keeping it safe. All right.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, when you're breaking to make camp for the 4th time, Harbeck finishes tinkering with his table and realizes that he's done something new and exciting.
Yeah.
So you can talk about that if you would like.
Well, we already gave everybody the stuff.
Well, yeah, but you didn't
We talked
really
about-
give it to them.
Okay.
Did you?
Well,
This is
yeah.
exciting.
I mean, it is exciting.
You've just
Um,
yeah.
So, I figured out a new thing I can do with these drinks. I mean, you know that I've been able to reproduce some magical effects by drinking things. I've healed Din when she was almost dead. And we've, to some success or failure, been able to do some divination by having one of these. Well, I figured out how to make this work for anyone. Right, so instead of me having to drink the drink to get the effect, which never made sense anyway, because do I know how to drink it better? I don't. At any rate, if I put a little more care into it, I can create something that will work if you drink it. So I've made a batch, just enough, 1 dose for each of you, in these 4 skins of. Basically, think of it as a bottled spell. This will enhance your abilities. You
I'm
can
5 years old.
pick.
I'm like 10.
I apologize for giggling when you said that you were giving us a potion in foreskin. that was my bad.
Yeah. You should probably not give people potions in foreskins.
I apologize.
I've made 4 potions in these beer skins, which is what I call water skins, because you all put the wrong liquid inside your skins. There are 4 of them. For the 4 of you, it's a number. You dirty-minded. Right, at any rate, think of this as a bottled spell. It'll enhance your abilities. You can drink it before you need to do something challenging. If you need to carry something heavy, drink it and focus on being strong. If you need to resist a charm, drink it and think about being wise. That sort of thing. The effect will last up to an hour if you can stay focused on it. So that's spells. I can make spells in bottles for everyone to have. I think my next batch will probably be healing spells.
Question.
Kind of nifty.
Since I don't drink, am I going to get, like, super wasted on said potion?
I want to lie to you, so you'll drink it anyway. But yes, these are definitely alcoholic. So at your own risk, then, I guess.
All right.
No, but I mean,
Harbeck.
casting magic has some side effects. You might feel a little fuzzy in the head. I mean, we could make up a lie, but I won't. I respect you too much.
right.
Harbeck, you're finally making the human raised by dwarves drink. Must bring you
I've
some
tried to
twisted
peer
pleasure.
pressure him, and he didn't give in. But maybe if I give him magic spells in bottles.
Maybe.
It's my excuse.
seriously, guys, this drink, it makes everything better. Like,
The gateway.
Drink this
Drink
beer,
gateway
and you will be
alcohol.
good at stuff. It's different from this beer, which just makes you think you're good at stuff.
I'm looking forward to the Here Hold My Beer. The Here Hold My Beer that everybody can drink. I can see the future. I can see it, and it's.
I'm about to
it's
try
going go that
something.
way.
And when I had this beer, it told me it was a great idea.
Okay, so that night you need to camp, which means I need watchers. Who is going to be taking the watches this evening?
Breakfast watch.
I got one.
I'll take one.
I got one.
Okay.
I went first. Haha.
Tavern.
Boom! If the eggs try to attack us out of my fry pan, I got this.
The night passes without incident. You all get plenty of rest and feel bright and bubbly the next morning when you wake up to a Harbeck breakfast. Once again, I'm going to ask the question, the important question. I also need to move you along a little bit. What are you going to do today with your time? Let's start from Harbeck. Harbeck, what are you doing today?
So I'm guessing it's unrealistic that I would have more base stock to make more potions, because
I mean,
Boozy has barrels of stuff.
yeah.
All right, I'm gonna make more potions. That's fun, and I'm excited about it.
Okay. Tavern, what are you doing with your day today?
I'm gonna try to do the same thing again, only hopefully a lot more effective.
Okay.
So 4.
4 more. Yep.
Okay,
4
that's
more levels. Yep.
that's a level 1 healing word for everyone, but me, all of you.
Brig, what are you doing with your day?
I don't know. I don't have any specific plans. I'm just gonna wander around and stick my head into people's business if I notice them doing something that I think is interesting.
Okay. Din, what are you doing today?
I'm trying to make more rocks, but maybe trying to make them more. So, I want a lumpy rock. I want a solid black rock. I want a rock shaped like my hand.
Okay. Okay. I'll get you to roll a knowledge nature check for me, please. 22. Okay. And Gogintius, what are you doing with your day?
So, after yesterday's unsuccessful attempt, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna at least try and say, Buck, I'm trying to learn how to do clean, I'm calling it clean cut, where I can cleanly cut through any object, any material. Can you help me out?
Okay. Din, you have some success, and you also have some failures, and you have no idea why it's working sometimes and why it's not working other times. You think you're thinking about the things that you want the same way every time, but it's weird. That's pretty much all I can give you.
Sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't.
You do manage to make, like, a fist out of stone, though. Like, it is literally a fist-shaped piece of stone, which is kind of interesting.
Cool. Harbeck!
Yes.
I made a punchy to go with...
Mash.
With mash.
Mash. I like punchy. That's very well sculpted. Did you? You didn't sculpt that at all, did you?
Well, not like you usually sculpt a rock.
Right. Usually you get a rock bigger than the shape you want, and you take bits of rock off. You made that.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
Out of smaller bits that you put together.
I guess.
Huh. That's pretty neat.
You want it?
Okay. Harbeck sets it on his tray table as a paperweight and a decoration.
Okay. You've got a paperweight in the shape of a tiny little female human fist that is excellently sculpted. It's interesting. Tavern, you rolled your unskilled intelligence. Did you roll your d4 to go with it?
I did.
Because you were guiding.
Yes.
So what was it? Where's the d4? I didn't see the d4.
It's added in.
Okay.
Because on the core stats page you can modify automatically.
You continue to try to focus, and in the process of, like, the concentration, you achieve a sort of an altered state of consciousness where you sort of manage to focus entirely on the thing that you're focusing on. The rest of the world blurs out of focus. The sounds of the forest disappear. It's almost trance-like, but still being completely aware of the thing that you're focusing on, the rock that you're trying to mage hand or whatever it might be. But from what you can tell, and you've been staring at it intently, you have not managed to move it with your brain. Unfortunately, for you.
Scions
The
are
next day
full of
passes.
crap. They can't do this.
The day passes, so the rest of the day passes without incident. Prieg spends some time talking to his ferret. Din is playing with dirt. Gergentius is muttering to himself about Book not being helpful and him not being able to get anywhere with his new sword cut technique. And Llama is feverishly working on his fancy new table. But you get to the edge of Lake Perilo, which is stunning. Now, you first notice this when you crest a hill, and you can see Lake Perilo below you. The hill is obscuring Lake Perilo. It's not blue. Typically, water is blue. That's, well, like your experience with it. It's normally a blue thing. This water is not blue. It is almost an emerald green color. The entire surface of the lake, which is, I should also point out, incredibly still, despite having 2 feeder lakes, or 2 feeder rivers, and 1 exit river. It's an incredibly still emerald green lake. There are a couple of like little fishing hut-style buildings on the far bank, but from what you can tell, there's no civilized people on this side of the lake.
Harbeck would totally react to that if his entire world were not this table and doing stuff.
Are we gonna
might
camp here?
react to that, but is going to do it after the next break because it's been an hour.
Oh, well, it has too. Whoops. Okay, well, if you're watching on YouTube, the next episode will be up when Llama gets it up. I mean, when Llama puts the next video up.
Posts the video is the correct
Posts the
terminology.
video.
Also, if you make 4 beverages in skin containers, make sure you put several words of separation.
That's very important.
Even
if you're
though
watching
we
on Twitch,
technically will have 4 skins.
or skin.
We will have 4
Guys, don't
of
be
the
so
skins.
hard on him.
That's-
Oh wait,
If you're watching on Twitch, we'll be back in about 3 minutes. Let's all say goodbye. Say goodbye, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, YouTube.
Bye!